Fáilte and welcome to this video series about Two Stacks and Killowen. I'm going to start with Two Stacks Irish Whiskey and their story, and we use the bottle to help us tell the story of Two Stacks Irish Whiskey. So whether you're in an elevator, in a broom closet, or standing next to somebody who wants to hear the story, the bottle is all you need to tell that story. We start on the front of the bottle where you see these two stripes, and these are the two stacks, which are a visual representation of the two smokestacks or the two chimney stacks that were part of the old Dundalk distillery. Dundalk is in the same part of Ireland as Newry, where Two Stacks is located, between Dublin and Belfast on the east coast of Ireland. There's a lot of distilling history in that part of Ireland, and the history books tell us that from 1708 all the way through to the mid-1920s, the Dundalk distillery was a powerhouse in Irish distilling. It closed down between 1926 and 1929, and while the smokestacks are long gone, the bricks from them were used in the building of local houses. In 1994, the old grain store became home to the Louth County Museum, and another old distillery building now houses the Dundalk Public Library. The story goes that back in the day, the two smokestacks at Dundalk Distillery were used to guide the ships into Dundalk Harbour. You'll see in the logo a representation of the North Star, and we know that the North Star has guided mariners and their ships around the planet for, well, decades, centuries, and maybe even millennia. In modern usage, the concept of a North Star is used in business to represent a guiding vision or goal that helps to align actions and decisions. We then take you to the back of the bottle, where we proudly call out bonders and blenders. Bonding is that old Irish craft of sourcing spirit from a local distillery or distilleries and aging it under bond in the bonder's facility. Now, that facility, as I call it, was a pub or a grocery store or a hotel back in the day. The bonder would have had a bonded license from the government to age this spirit in their bonded facility. Another interesting snippet of history is that back in those days, in the late 1700s and into the early to mid 1800s, most Irish distilleries did not bottle their own whiskey, as they focused on the production side of whiskey making. So they would sell their whiskey in casks for export, and they would also sell it in casks to bonders. Blending is the art of pulling together some or all of those bonded casks to create a consistently balanced and flavoursome whiskey. Whether that's a blended whiskey made from multiple styles or a grain, malt or pot still whiskey and the differing components that go into those. Bonding was a very important part of the Irish whiskey industry, helped by the Excise Act of 1823, which allowed for the storing and aging of whiskey under bond. This allowed bonders to defer the payment of duties on alcohol until they'd sold it, which helped greatly with cash flow. Bonding died out in the 1920s and 1930s as the Irish whiskey industry continued its downward slide, but has been revived in recent years at Two Stacks. In its modern guise, bonders are loved by the distillers, as the distillers get paid once the new make spirit leaves their own bond. In addition, it allows bonders a rich canvas to paint flavours onto, as they are not restricted to one type or style of whiskey. At Two Stacks, we currently source from 17 of the 50 distilleries, that's 50 on the island, and have commissioned bespoke distillations that are happily aging in our bond at this time. So Two Stacks as a bonder and blender was founded in 2020 by the lads, as we call them. You've all heard of LSD. Pause for a little chuckle or maybe even a laugh. So think of that as an easy way to remember the lads' names. We have Liam, Shane and Donal, and they each bring a different skill set to Two Stacks, in addition to great palates which help with blending. One of the founding and guiding principles of Two Stacks is transparency. Now, we've done a great job in Ireland over the last number of years of convincing the world that all of our whiskey is triple distilled and smooth. And while true in some cases, It is literally just the start of our whisky story in Ireland. What you notice when you look at each and every bottle from Two Stacks is that we will let you know what is in that bottle. We will give you the breakdown of the styles that go into our blended whiskies, as well as letting you know the component parts of the whiskies that go into our grain, malt and other whiskies. The other thing of note when we talk about the bottle is the bottle itself, as it's made from 70% recycled glass. We are doing our bit at Two Stacks to lessen our impact, and using recycled glass is one of those efforts. Given how our story is told through the bottle, we also encourage you to use your empty Two Stacks bottles as water bottles. Scrape off the label using some hot soapy water and use the bottle to keep telling the Two Stacks story long after the whiskey has been drunk. Sláinte mhath.